and welcome to this episode of Rook's Entertainment Roundup. I'm Bob Rook. In recent years, I've had the pleasure of becoming more and more familiar with the Durham Museum in Omaha. From its outstanding exhibits, fantastic soda shop, and its marvelous setting inside the Union Station, this venue is a wonderful asset to Nebraska, and our guest today shares plenty of reasons why it is. We are pleased to welcome the Durham's Director of Communication, Jessica Brummer. Jessica, thanks so much for being on. We appreciate you being on the Roundup for the first time.
I am thrilled to be on the Roundup. Thank you for having me.
We're glad that you're here, and we love the Durham Museum. I want to talk a little about the Durham Museum. It's got some great history going back to 1929.
The building was the original Union Station in Omaha, built by Union Pacific, as you said, started in 1929, right in the heart of the Great Depression. Opened in 1931 and was a operating train station for 40 years until it closed. Things like airplanes and Amtrak took over, and we sat empty for about 3 years until Union Pacific donated the building to the city of Omaha to become a museum. It is a beautiful place. If you haven't been here, it's restored.
The ambiance of it, what was it, 95? That, boy, you're talking about $22 million in renovation money. And boy, it's worth it. It shows it's great. You got parking deck, a new roof, office spaces, and then a great gift shop too. You can't think of that.
Yeah, we have an awesome museum shop behind the original ticket counter, but you really do get transported back in time when you step into the Great Hall. Everything's as it was. It's been restored beautifully. We just finished restoring the outside of the building too. It was about a 2-year project, so restoring all the original terracotta exterior. So the building is what we like to call our single greatest artifact. It is living history for sure, but there's a lot going on in our walls too, besides just the building itself. But if you've never been here, it is a gem and you have to come see the building.
The soda shop alone is worth the drive, ladies and gentlemen. I must attest.
Yes, I can vouch for that.
It is awesome. Let's talk a little bit about what's going on right now. We're just finishing up an exhibit that is photography. You want to talk a little bit about that? And I think that's just wrapping up here.
Yeah, so we have about a week left of Pulitzer Prize photographs is the current temporary exhibition. We actually opened that late February, and then the museum had to close due to COVID in March. So we were fortunate that the lending institution let us keep it, and we were able to reopen it when the museum reopened in August. So there's a few more weeks left to see that. It's a really powerful, amazing show.
One thing I want people to know too is, can you talk a little bit about the Smithsonian connection with the Durham Museum? I think that's exciting that happened in 2002. I think that relationship started. Could you tell our audiences a little bit about that?
Yeah, so the Smithsonian has actually a network of museums throughout the country that are considered Smithsonian affiliates. And we were the first one in Nebraska to become a Smithsonian affiliate. It's a wonderful program. It allows us access to a lot of the Smithsonian resources in terms of their curators, their knowledge, their information. Allows us to bring programs that we wouldn't be able to.
I wanted to mention that you guys are doing a really good job. I talked to a lot of our guests that are having to deal with this change that a lot of us are having to deal with the COVID situation. And you guys are reopened. You're doing a great job. You've got a lot of stuff going on and a lot of stuff for people to see. Talk a little bit about how that experience has been and some of the things that you've put in place.
We had to put lots of things in place in terms of our own staff and volunteer safety, but our visitor safety too. And it's been an amazing experience. It's been stressful. It's been I don't know, a really trying time. To have a museum, as you know, with many arts organizations, you know, the people and the guests are so much of what we are. I mean, a museum without people coming in the doors is just an empty building.
One great thing about your business and that theater and the arts do, visual and performing, is really help with mental health. And I really tell our audiences that I'm a firm believer in it. It helps you with depression, anxiety, and normally, anyway, allows you to escape. And this is so important that people understand that when they go into the Durham, you can forget about anything and everything that's going on in and around you and just focus of all the great things that's being offered there. So I just want to make sure people understand how the importance of that, and it's kind of an added perk that people aren't really aware of.
Yeah, I think that's 100% true, and I think if anything during this time, it's taught us is like, you know, how much we maybe take for granted having some of the luxuries like museums and zoos and performing arts and all of those things in our cities, and what they do for us in terms of our mental health, but also in terms of our economic impact.
Jessica and I have given you just a couple reasons why you should go up to the Durham. Now we're going to give you a really big reason, because there is something that I've been waiting for a long time, and that's the Muppet exhibit that's coming up. And I am so excited about that. You're probably going to get tired of seeing me. I'm going to be walking up
never,
and down the hallway.
Never.
Folks,
no.
I started my career in puppetry. Henson, he's been a big hero of mine for a long time. And people need to understand that the wide gambit of his contributions to the industry, dating back to his start with Sam and Friends, where there was a very early version of this character called Kermit the Frog. And a lot of people don't know that he was also on Saturday Night Live for a season with the Muppets, with a group that he created called the Land of Gorge. How lucky are we to have this in the state of Nebraska?
We are incredibly lucky, and we are geeking out for sure. And this was one of those things that, you know, back in March when everything closed, it was like, please let us still be able to have our fall exhibit. We want to be open. We want to do this. So we are over the moon that we get to host. The exhibit is called the Jim Henson Exhibition, Imagination Unlimited. We are the only, I think this is will be the fourth site in the US to have the show. There's a permanent show on display in New York City. This is the traveling version of that show. So unless you've been to New York to see that, or one of the cities that's had it, it's pretty special. And as you said, I mean, I think nostalgia overload in this show.
Oh man, something for everybody, all ages. I mean, now,
yeah,
I won't give away my age, mid-50s, but so I go back to the very early Muppet Show. And then Dark Crystal was like the boundaries he broke with the original Dark Crystal was wonderful. And so you're going to have some of the Dark Crystal, and do you know exactly what all you're going to be able to go on up there? I saw Dr. Benson Honeydew and Beaker on one of the press photos. Yes. And isn't that sad? Why is this never a subject on Jeopardy? I would knock this out of the park.
I was gonna say, I feel like you should be doing this interview. I should be asking you questions
on everything else, but maybe someday I'll just sit there. Come on, man, Muppet category, Muppets for
yeah. I should be interviewing you.
Man, it's awesome. So
it's everything. As you said, the show does run his entire career, so there are puppets from early days like Sam and Friends. There are, I think, just over 20 puppets. And actually, that's so funny you bring that up, because one of my favorite things in the show is that photo op. It's a photo op where you stand in one of the arches. So like you said, I think, you know, kids are gonna love it. Anyone that has an experience with any of his shows, from Sesame Street to the Muppets, Bert and Ernie are here, of course, Kermit is here, and they're actually here, which also makes me geek out. The trucks arrived the other day, so
I got my background here. So do you ever sneak down to them and just want to like pull one out of the box? A lot of people don't know she's been kind enough to share this one with me.
You're gonna get me in trouble.
Hey, what am
I would just like to say that is not from the show.
I'm not. This is just a very, it's kind of sad now that I think about it. This is kind of an antique because I had this when I was in high school.
I love animals.
But
I know.
Yeah, this was a
but
big
I think
thing
the show has. Wow.
Isn't that neat? Yes. So folks, go up there and see the real. This is nothing. But actually, this isn't. I don't know what this, but anyway. So
well, and I think that we focus on the puppets because they're obviously the wow factor, but there's like a ton of stuff from his collection, like handwritten storyboards and really cool artifacts too, on top of having the actual puppets here. So I can't even explain how excited we are, and I feel like the timing of this show is just perfect because it's fun. It's going to give people maybe that outlet that we were talking about. Like, come on, you cannot love a Muppet and have some joy brought into your life by coming to see this show. So we're really excited.
It's great that you mentioned the sketches and stuff too, because the planning that this gentleman did and his entire company, and this this is like pre-Disney Muppet stuff. This is creme de la creme that really changed the landscape for motion pictures and a lot of stuff that he did, and that even Lucasfilms took some stuff that Mr. Henson created to do. So he was really ahead of his time. Somebody who was gone way too soon, I think. And even coming up with a remote control bicycle for the scene a lot of people know in the Muppet movie, that was like groundbreaking to Emmett Otter and how much they had to stay underwater and puppet underwater. I mean, this is an amazing thing to have in Nebraska. And thankfully, this is just a sample of how important the Durham is to bring stuff in to Nebraska. For us to enjoy. And folks, there's no excuse to, if go in. They've got it safe for you. It's no excuse to head up there, and this is something that's perfect for everybody of all ages. Yeah,
thank you for saying that. I think we're lucky to have it. We're trying to bring stuff to our state that you'd have to go outside to see, but we want people to experience it here. So we're looking forward to that. And
so I want to come up and I want to see this. Now I can get a family pack. I can go onto the website. What can I do? How do I get up there? How do I see it? What do I do? Tell everybody how they can come up and how they can find out more about the Durham.
Yeah, so the Muppet Show does open October 3rd. So I just want everyone to know that. You can go online and reserve your tickets and pay online. Just durhammuseum.org is our website.
It's worth it. It's definitely great. It's a great asset. You're a great lady for being on. I appreciate you being on for your first time here. We're going to have you back on sometime again, if that's okay with you.
Absolutely. And I appreciate your support so much.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for being on. Head up to the Durham Museum, everybody. You're going to have fun, man, and you'll get to meet the Muppets, the Muppet Show tonight. And now, here's the roundup for this week, a special Durham Museum edition. The exhibit of the Pulitzer Prize photographs will conclude on September 20th at the Durham Museum. The Jim Henson exhibition Imagination Unlimited takes place from October 3rd through January 10th. Log on to the durhammuseum.org to find out more information. In the spring of 2021, the Durham Museum will present Guitar, the Instrument That Rocked the World. The Durham Museum is located at 801 South 10th Street in Omaha, Nebraska. Their phone number is 444-5071. And that's a special Durham Museum edition of the Roundup. We want to thank all of you for watching this episode of Rook's Entertainment Roundup, and a special thanks to our guest, Jessica Brummer of the Durham Museum. If you haven't done so, please like our page on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Until next time, everyone, have an entertaining weekend.